6.6 The Move to Facilitation. Perhaps the most significant shift described in this chapter is the move from instruction to facilitation. In a networked, information-rich environment, the primary role of the educator is no longer to dispense knowledge but to guide learners in developing their own knowledge networks. Seymour Papert's distinction between instructing and active doing is invoked. Effective online learning requires instructors to focus less on lecturing and content presentation and more on helping learners forage for knowledge through guided exploration. This does not mean abandoning lectures entirely. Appropriately used, a lecture via video or podcast is still a valuable tool, but it is one tool among many, deployed strategically rather than by default. The shift to facilitation requires educators to develop new mindsets, a spirit of experimentation, willingness to engage learners in co-creation of content, tolerance for the messy, nonlinear dynamics of networked learning, and willingness to let go of the control and content presentation models that dominate traditional teaching. 6.7 The Iris Model. The handbook introduces the Iris Model, innovation, research, implementation, systematization, as a framework for understanding how educational technology innovations move from experimental pilots to sustainable institutional practice. This model helps explain why so many promising innovations fail to achieve widespread adoption. The journey from what is possible to how do we scale this requires careful research and implementation work that is often skipped in the enthusiasm of early adoption. The Iris Model stages: innovation, exploring what is possible, pushing boundaries of existing practice. Key question: what is possible? Research, investigating how innovations work in practice. Key question: how does it work? Implementation, testing in real-world educational contexts. Key question: what is the real-world impact? Systematization, developing scalable approaches for broad adoption. Key question: how do we duplicate this? 7. Media and technology. This chapter examines the relationships between different media formats, technological affordances, and learning outcomes. The authors address a fundamental debate in educational technology. Are media neutral vehicles for delivering instruction, or do they have cognitively relevant characteristics that actively shape how learners represent and process information? 7.1. The Media Neutrality Debate. The handbook summarizes two opposing theoretical positions. Media are neutral vehicles that deliver instruction. In this view, the instructional methods employed by designers are what matter. The medium is irrelevant. Media are non-neutral and have specific cognitive characteristics that influence learning. Different media engage different cognitive processes, making the choice of medium a pedagogically significant decision. Recent research in multimedia learning supports the second position. The human brain does process different media through different channels. Visual and auditory processing appear to be partially independent, and this has real implications for instructional design. But the authors also caution against media determinism. The choice of medium is only one of many factors that determine learning effectiveness.